G'day, I'm Mark from AustralianMusicHistory.com and welcome to Popular But Not Hits. 11 songs this time from 1987 that got the airplay, got the pub play, but never made it to the top 20. 1987's a big one. Midnight Oil put out Diesel and Dust in August. INXS follow in October with Kick. This is the year Australian rock stops being just an Australian story and starts being a global one. But the songs on this list are the ones that didn't make that trip, the ones that stayed home, filled the pubs, and still couldn't crack the top 20. At number 1, we got a genuine supergroup. Status Quo, The Angels and Rose Tattoo all turning up in the same band, treating the whole thing like one long encore. It's the closest miss on this entire list, so stick around for that one. This is Popular But Not Hits, 1987. Number 11, Away Away by Weddings, Parties, Anything. This one's older than the album it's on. Mick Thomas started writing it back in 1984, before Weddings, Parties, Anything had even played a gig, before the band existed in any form you'd recognise. By the time it landed on Scorn of the Women in April 1987, it had been kicking around for years. The band funded that whole album themselves. No label, no advance, just a growing live following that eventually got loud enough for Warner to take notice. That's the pub-to-label pipeline working exactly the way it's supposed to, just with an accordion instead of a Marshall stack. 92 on the chart, doesn't matter. This is a band that built an audience the honest way. Number 10, Boom Baby Boom by Mondo Rock. Ross Wilson and Mondo Rock were well past needing to prove themselves by 1987. Cool World, State of the Heart, and a run of proper hits behind them. The Boom Baby Boom album came out in September 1986, and this title track got a second wind as the single the following year, remixed for the clubs. Boom, baby, boom. You got me, she's got me hot. Funny thing is, the other single off that same album, Primitive Love Rides, actually cracked the Billboard Hot 100 in the States around the same time. One album, two singles, two completely different fortunes. This one only made it to number 86 at home. Still a Mondo Rock record and still worth your time. Number 9, Sallie-Anne by Spy vs. Spy. This one's a little heavier than most of what's on this list, so a little bit of context first. Sallie-Anne Huckstep was a Sydney woman who spoke out publicly against police corruption after her partner died, and she was murdered for it. It became one of the defining scandals of an era that eventually got dragged into daylight by the Wood Royal Commission. Spy vs. Spy wrote a song with her name on it, the second single off their AO Mod TV verse, and it's about as blunt and as Sydney as songwriting gets. I'll say this much. I'm distantly related to Sallie-Anne Huckstep. It's not something I knew growing up, but it's stuck with me since I found out. 64 on the chart, and honestly, the chart number is the least important thing about this one. Number 8, Reasons by John Farnham. Whispering Jack came out in 1986 and just wouldn't stop. You're the Voice, Age of Reason, Pressure Down. Hit after hit off the same record. By the time Reasons came around as the fourth and final single, the album was still charting well over a year after release. Sam C wrote this one. 60 on the chart doesn't sound like much next to a run like that, but context matters. This is a song riding the tail end of one of the biggest comeback albums this country's ever produced. Farnham didn't need a fourth hit off Whispering Jack, but he got one anyway, just not quite in the top 20. Number 7, Body and Soul by Jenny Morris. Here's an odd one. The single came out in March 1987, months before the album of the same name even existed. Jenny Morris had been around the traps for years, singing with bands like QED, before stepping out as a solo artist. Andrew Farris produced parts of this record, same as he'd done for her the year before.
Body and soul, body and soul, body and
55 on the chart for the single, but the album went on to win her the ARIA for Best Female Artist, and she backed it up again the following year. 2 ARIAs, same album cycle. The single missed the mark, the record itself didn't. Number 6, Glory Road by Richard Clapton. Back in 1982, Richard Clapton produced Underneath the Colours for a young band still finding their sound, INXS. 5 years later, with INXS about to become one of the biggest bands on the planet, their drummer, John Farris, came back and produced this record for Clapton. That's the favour repaid.
Here we go, down the glory road.
And Farris didn't come alone. Michael Hutchins, Jimmy Barnes and Mark Hunter all turn up as guests on Glory Road. That's a serious cross-section of the era's biggest voices, all showing up for one songwriter's record. 42 on the chart, the guest list alone tells you what this town thought of Richard Clapton. Number 5, Good Times by Hoodoo Gurus. Blow You Cool came out in April 1987. Mark Opitz behind the desk, giving the Gurus a slicker, more radio-friendly sound than anything they'd made before. Good Times followed as the second single in July, and Dave Faulkner brought in some serious help for the backing vocals. Brad Shepard actually flew to LA to oversee it. The Bangles on harmonies, Susanna Hoffs and the rest of them. At the exact moment Walk Like an Egyptian had them sitting at number 1 in America. An Australian pub band and an American pop phenomenon crossed paths for 3 minutes. 36 on the chart here. Worth it just for that story. Number 4, Do You See What I See by Hunters and Collectors. Recorded at Metropolis Audio in Melbourne in August 1987, a few months ahead of the What's a Few Men album. This one's credited to the whole band, same as most of what Hunters and Collectors wrote together. It never got near the top 20. Peaked at 33, and that was that for the charts. But it stuck around in the Hunters catalogue in a way plenty of bigger hits haven't. Still a setlist regular decades on. The same story as Say Goodbye the year before it. The chart number and the song's actual life in this country tell 2 completely different stories. Number 3, Her Charity by Boom Crash Opera. This one's a dig at beauty pageant culture. The bathing suit parade, all the blokes lining up to give what they could to her cause. Peter Farnham and Richard Pleasance wrote it, the 4th single off the band's self-titled debut, and they recorded that whole album at Rack Studios in London with Alex Sadkin producing. A bloke with Duran Duran and Bob Marley on his CD. That's a serious international name behind an Australian debut record. 32 on the charts. A pop song with real teeth in it, done properly, but still not quite enough to crack the top 20. Number 2, Put Down That Weapon by Midnight Oil. Diesel and Dust doesn't sound like anyone was chasing a hit. The whole record grew out of the band's tour through Central Australia the year before, playing in Indigenous communities alongside the Warumpi Band. And this song sits right alongside Beds Are Burning and The Dead Heart as one of the album's proper statements. Beds Are Burning became the song that defined the era. This one, same album, same conviction, same band, only got to 32. Doesn't make the record any less serious. It just means not every great song off a great album gets to be the single everyone remembers. And at number 1, I've got Hold Your Head Up by the Party Boys. Right, here it is. The Party Boys in 1987 were a genuine supergroup, and not a subtle one. Alan Lancaster, founding bass player of Status Quo, on bass, John Brewster from the Angels on guitar, Angry Anderson out of Rose Tattoo fronting it early on, before John Swan took over the mic partway through the year. That lineup change is exactly what kicked the band into its best run. They'd already had their first number 1 earlier in 1987 with He's Gonna Step On You Again.
Stand by your fire, he can change your desire. Don't you know that he can make you forget you're a man?
Hold Your Head Up is a straight cover of the old Argent song from 1972, cut live and released in November. And it's the closest miss on this whole list, peaking at number 21. One spot outside the top 20 from a band built by blokes who'd already had genuine international careers and were just here to have a good time.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head.
That's 1987 in a nutshell. Some acts chasing the world stage and some chasing a good night out. Both of them ended up on this list. So that's popular but not hits for 1987. 11 songs that got the airplay, got the pub play, but still missed the top 20. There's a real split running through this list. On one side, you've got the acts about to go properly global. On the other side, you've got the pure pub stuff. The Party Boys treating the whole year like a party. Weddings, parties, anything, building an audience one gig at a time. 1987 had room for both, and neither one cared much about what the chart said. So what do you remember from 1987? Where were you when you first heard any of these? Let me know in the comments, and if there's something from this year that should have made the list, let me know as well. If you're new here, stick around, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.